Block 1. Chiron Protocol Explained. What if the most personal statement an athlete can make, the art etched permanently onto their skin, isn't personal at all? What if it's a broadcast antenna? We're not talking about brand logos or motivational quotes. We're talking about a clandestine technological framework, a whisper in the locker rooms, and a theory gaining traction in the darkest corners of the sports tech world. It's called the Chiron Protocol. The central idea is as simple as it is terrifying, that a growing number of elite athletes are wearing tattoos integrated with advanced smart ink technology. These aren't just pigments, they are sophisticated microscopic data collection and transmission systems, silently monitoring, analyzing, and broadcasting the most intimate details of an athlete's biology. To understand how this could even be possible, we have to move beyond the traditional tattoo needle and ink pot. We need to dive into the cutting-edge world of biointegrated electronics. The foundation of the Chiron Protocol rests on the concept of smart ink. Imagine an ink that's not just a collection of inert pigments, but a complex biocompatible slurry teeming with microscopic machinery. First, you have the nanosensors. These are unimaginably small devices, each designed to detect a specific biological marker. Think of them as a permanent internal medical lab. One set of sensors could be calibrated to constantly measure blood oxygen saturation, giving a real-time picture of an athlete's endurance. Another could monitor lactate acid levels, the chemical that causes muscle fatigue, telling a coach the precise moment a player is about to hit their physical wall. Others could track core body temperature, hydration levels, and even the concentration of specific hormones like cortisol, the stress hormone, or adrenaline. Unlike a smartwatch or a chest strap, this isn't a device you can take off. It's part of you, providing a constant, unbroken stream of data 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether the athlete is on the field, in the training room, or asleep in their own bed. But how does this internal lab report its findings? That's where the next layer of the theoretical technology comes in: bioluminescent dyes. These aren't just for a cool glowing effect. In the context of the Chiron Protocol, these dyes could act as a visual data interface or even part of the transmission system itself. Certain chemicals are known to fluoresce or change color in response to specific biological or chemical stimuli. A smart ink could be engineered so that a barely perceptible shift in the tattoo's hue, perhaps only visible under a specific frequency of light, indicates a change in the athlete's body. A coach on the sideline, using a special lens or camera, could get an instant visual readout of their team's physiological state just by looking at their tattoos. Is a player's arm tattoo shifting to a slightly warmer tone, indicating dehydration? Is the intricate pattern on their back pulsing with a rhythm that matches a dangerously high heart rate? It's a silent, secret language written on the skin. Of course, a subtle glow isn't enough for the kind of mass data harvesting the Chiron Protocol suggests. The final and most crucial piece of the puzzle is wireless data transmission. The nanosensors need a way to send their detailed data packets out of the body. The power requirements for this would be minuscule. The system could be powered by the athlete's own body, using thermoelectric energy from body heat or kinetic energy captured from their movements. The transmission itself could use a modified form of near-field communication, the same tech used for contactless payments, or a low-energy encrypted radio frequency. Imagine a network of hidden receivers embedded around a stadium, a training facility, or even a team bus, constantly pinging and downloading data from every tattooed player on the roster. They wouldn't even feel it. They just see their tattoo, a symbol of their identity, while a server somewhere logs every beat of their heart and every chemical shift in their bloodstream. So why would such an invasive system ever be implemented? The public-facing justification is obvious and frankly compelling: peak human performance and injury prevention. For a franchise that has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in its players, this is the holy grail. Imagine a pitcher's smart tattoo alerting the manager that the micro tears in his elbow were becoming critical, allowing them to pull him from the game moments before a career-ending injury. Imagine a marathon runner whose trainers can adjust their in-race nutrition strategy based on real-time electrolyte data being broadcast from their calf tattoo. It promises a new era of sports where athletes can safely push their bodies to the absolute limit, guided by perfect, personalized data. It's the ultimate competitive edge. But the Chiron Protocol theory argues this is just a benevolent cover story. The more clandestine motivations are where the true controversy lies. This is about control. It's about data harvesting on an unprecedented scale. Who owns this data? Does the athlete, or does the team that paid for the specialized ink? What about the corporate sponsors who pour billions into the leagues? Could they get access to this data to see which athletes are physically peaking before signing an endorsement deal? And what about the multi-trillion-dollar sports betting industry? The existence of a real-time inside track on player physiology would be the most valuable and corrupting information in the world. Whispers of this are already circulating. There are anonymous posts on sports medicine forums by trainers who claim to have seen anomalous data readouts from players with new intricate tattoos.
There are rumors of teams making shockingly prescient trades, letting go of players who, months later, suffer the exact kind of fatigue-related injuries that a secret monitoring system would have predicted. The Chiron Protocol suggests that the game we watch on the screen is only half the story. The other half is a silent, invisible war of information being fought right on the skin of the players themselves. And this is just the beginning. The monitoring of biometrics is one thing, but the darkest layer of this theory goes much, much deeper into the very code of life itself. Athlete DNA. Broadcasting the idea of broadcasting an athlete's heart rate and lactate levels is already a profound ethical minefield. But the most alarming, most futuristic, and most terrifying aspect of the Chiron Protocol theory is where it goes next. It's the claim that this smart ink isn't just a biometric monitor, but a genetic scanner capable of reading and broadcasting key elements of an athlete's DNA. Now, let's be clear. This doesn't mean the system is sequencing an athlete's entire 3 billion-letter genome and beaming it up to a satellite in real time. The data load would be impossible. The hypothetical mechanism is far more subtle, targeted, and efficient. The nanosensors within the ink wouldn't be looking for everything. They would be programmed to act like microscopic bloodhounds, searching for the presence and expression of very specific single nucleotide polymorphisms, or SNPs. These are tiny variations in our genetic code that can have a massive impact on our physical traits. Think of it like this. The system isn't reading the entire book of an athlete's DNA. It's just scanning for specific keywords. Is the athlete a carrier of the speed gene, ACTN3, which is strongly associated with fast-twitch muscle fibers perfect for sprinting? The nanosensor detects it. Do they possess a variant of the COL5A1 gene, which has been linked to a higher risk of ligament and tendon injuries? The system flags it. Does their body express the EPOR gene in a way that maximizes oxygen-carrying red blood cells, granting them world-class endurance? That information is captured. Once these key genetic markers are identified, they can be encoded into a highly compressed, encrypted data packet, a unique biological signature. This signature, perhaps no larger than a standard text message, could then be broadcast using the same low-energy frequencies as the rest of the biometric data. The athlete wouldn't have to give a blood sample or a cheek swab. Their own tattoo would be performing a constant, non-consensual genetic analysis every second of the day. The ethical and privacy implications of this are staggering. It represents a complete demolition of the concept of genetic privacy. Who would have access to this, the most sensitive and personal data a person possesses? The team owners, of course. Imagine a future NFL or NBA draft where scouts aren't just looking at college game tapes, but are secretly analyzing the genetic scores of potential draftees. They could build a team not just on skill, but on a foundation of predicted longevity, injury resistance, and raw genetic potential. A player could be passed over not because he isn't good enough now, but because his DNA suggests a predisposition to ACL tears 10 years down the line. It creates a new, invisible form of discrimination, genetic profiling in sports. And it wouldn't stop at recruitment. This data could be used for exploitation throughout an athlete's career. A team could use a player's genetic data against them in contract negotiations. We know you're asking for a 5-year max deal, they might say, but your genetic markers indicate a high probability of athletic decline after age 30. We'll offer you a 2-year deal. How can an athlete argue against their own biology? This information would also be a goldmine for pharmaceutical companies, who could use the genetic data from a pool of elite athletes to develop new, highly targeted performance-enhancing drugs. And perhaps most chillingly, consider the black market. What would a rival nation pay for the genetic profiles of another country's entire Olympic team? What would a high-stakes gambler pay for the knowledge that a star quarterback's DNA shows he has a poor recovery profile, making him a bad bet for the second half of a game? It turns the athlete's very essence into a commodity to be bought, sold, and traded. This fundamentally erodes the concept of athlete autonomy and consent. A young athlete desperate to make it to the professional leagues might be told they need to get a team tattoo as part of their contract. They might be told it's a symbol of unity, or even that it contains a simple biometric monitor for their health and safety. Would they be told its true purpose? Would they be informed that they are signing away the rights to their own genetic code? The power imbalance is immense. For a teenager with a dream, the choice between getting the tattoo and giving up on their career is no choice at all. It's coercion disguised as team spirit. We are forced to ask a profound question. At what point does an athlete stop being a person and start being a data asset? A collection of biological metrics and genetic probabilities owned and operated by a corporation. The line between optimizing performance and owning a human being becomes terrifyingly thin. The Chiron Protocol, for now, remains a theory, a dark whisper about the future of sports. But the technologies that underpin it, nanosensors, biointegrated electronics, genetic marker analysis, are all very real and developing at an exponential rate. The question is not if this level of biological surveillance will become possible, but when. And when it does, who will be in control? Who will write the rules? The tattoos you see on your favorite athletes today might just be art, but tomorrow they could be the chains of a new invisible form of control, turning the playing field into a laboratory and the players into experiments. The game is changing in ways we can't even see.